2v2, Medean Cliff Mines blue team. It's Arthel playing a Chaos Lord durable and destructive commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Very good offense and destruction, fights mainly in melee combat alongside Regathor is an Eldar Farseer support commander that fights in melee combat, really good buffs, debuffs and some control too. Red team, it's Kisuke. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's a Warboss melee commander that walks through cover, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines. And rounding off the teams is Mowgli as a Lord General, fights range combat, lots of great defense and support abilities, and has these two Stormtrooper retinue models we can add to throughout the game with new members. Wields a bolter one-handed because he's a boss. We have Kisuke with double shooters, CSM on the field for Arthel, and triple Dire Avengers from Regathor up against that Imperial Guard player. That Sentinel might be in huge amounts of trouble very quickly. The Lord General cannot repair. He's one of the only commanders in the game that doesn't start with any kind of active ability or structure. Does have that retinue though. South side has been left. Both blue players going mid, which is really weird to see. Arthel, he is going to try and flank around now. These heretics in trouble. Shooters coming back to the support of the Warboss and the Sluggers, and let's see how much health they lose when the shooters turn to engage. Daka. Half of their hit points gone in about a second and a half from those double shooters. That's the piercing damage that those guys bring. Sentinel taking big chunks of damage. Gonna see Guide, and we've already seen it. It looks like the Farseer has used it already. She might have just used her fleet though. There's the Guardsman repairing, and there is Guide on the Dire Avengers, increasing their range and their damage. And he's going to use it to whittle down those Guardsmen, and now turn his attention onto the Sentinel, and Mowgli is not pulling it back. This thing might be dead. Look at the damage from those Shuriken catapults. How did it get away? 43 hit points, it does get away. Chaos Sword up against a bunch of Orks. There's Kill the Weak, his starting ability, knockback and a heal on everything he hits. And since he hit a whole bunch of Orks there, it healed him completely, but he does forced off by all those Orks. No support for him up there. In fact, the Chaos Space Marines and the Warboss are both north, so we do have this 2v2 kind of split fight up here. Warboss with his Angry Blitz charging in, but is then forced off, and Raptors on the way for Arthel. Not something I'd expect to see against a Warboss. He can make their lives a misery with cyborg implants. If he uses that stun stomp and then run in sluggers with burners or something, he's going to need to keep the Raptors away from the Warboss most likely. Down goes the Lord General, as you saw there. Sentinel pushing forward. Surely we're going to see some Catachans or spotters from Mowgli. Space Marines trying to cap center. It's shooters capping. They have their big shooters. We have double big shooters. We do. Raptors on the field. Jump troop that suppress units when they land. Enemy units, that is. Pretty decent in melee combat, especially in tier 1. 30 DPS per model, I think, around that. Still kicking off in the north. Sentinel is going to eat a grenade. Ouch. Almost killed the Farseer, but she does get away, or does she? Guardsman trying to force melee combat on you. And here's the Chaos Space Marines. Wow, massive risks there from Arthel. They lost 2 models, but they do get away. If there was anything else other than Guardsmen perhaps, or Dire Avengers, would have been killed on retreat in melee combat. Raptors jumping on the double shooters. That's what he got them for, to shut down the double shooters. Now Kisuke needs to be careful about his positioning of those guys. Can't really just lump them together and shoot stuff. When he can, perhaps if he positions his Warboss to counter-initiate, and he's gone for spiky armor in fact, which will hurt the Raptors if they engage him, and players aren't always aware when an opponent has the spiky armor until they engage. Sluggers with their burners up gives them a couple of power melee weapons, increased health and some burners to burn down structures with. We have aspects up for all of the Dire Avengers, I think, yes, and some Rangers. That's going to make the Sentinel's life even more of a misery. Sluggers getting absolutely owned here by Dire Avenger fire and the Raptors. Chaos Sword goes straight after the Warboss, which is a bit odd. There's his stomp, his starting ability, a very good one it is. Disruption from close range. Raptors are chasing him down. Warboss is doing a good job holding everything up here. There's kinetic pulse from the Rangers. You see Spike Your Armor doing its thing. It is very, very painful. It does that damage. It does an area of effect as well. It doesn't just hit the unit that hit him. It hits every unit near him in radius 3, as you saw there. So if you have a unit like Banshees or Heretics smacking on him, that damage ramps up very, very quickly and he can wipe the squad in seconds. Chaos Lord trying to use his kill the weak, is he? That was a special attack in fact, but he is going down. 465, 470, tier 2 for everyone apart from Kisuke, who's gone for some looters here. Forced off the south though by Havocs, it looks like, from Arthel. Rangers in mid. Sniper infantry, big burst damage and destruction from range. And also deploy hollow field from their pathfinder here, as you see here. 456, 470, Sentinel coming forward for a stomp. Is it? No, just to scare them off. The threat of a stomp often has a very big effect. This Sentinel doesn't even have the upgrade. 456, 465, a single cap for the blue team. Quite a close tier 1. Raptors need to run away here lest they lose a model to this Lord General in range combat. Double cap for blue. Are they going to lose a model? He's completely forgot about him. Arthel, he does have a Aspiring Champion Heretics though in amongst the guardsmen. Doom Blast and forced off the Chaos Lord, still requiring a revive here. Looters are going to set up, but they're not be able to set up in time and not going to be able to cover 2 directions. So they are forced off. The Raptors were wiped. Seriously. Oh boy. You just let them get shot to death, Arthel. Massive, massive misplay. Warboss charging. He's level to 3 now. Smack does, I think it's 42 DPS with his default chain axe, which will go up as he levels. Wraithguard on the way for Regathor. Manticore already on the field for Mowgli. Heavy artillery piece. We'll see what kind of damage it can do to these triple Dire Avengers and those Rangers. Heretics moving in on the Warboss. I don't think Arthel has realised that this Warboss has spiky armor. He should not be engaging him with Heretics. 456, 338. There is the creeping barrage, and it's hit pretty damn well here. Does not knock back retreating units, but doing a fair bit of damage as you saw. Sentinel now has its missile launcher. Frag and crack missiles that can freely switch between Chaos Dreadnoughts on the way for Arthel. The first Manticore strike was always very important when your opponent doesn't necessarily know it's on the field. And they're not power harassing here. Scared of the Wraithguard. We do have the Commissar retinue member. In fact, we have a full retinue for the Lord General. He's got the Sergeant who gives you medical packs. He's got the Commissar who gives you that shield that you saw there, and the Vox Operator there you see with that equipment on his back to call in reinforcements. The Manticore strike doesn't do a whole lot. 451, 375. Not often you see a full retinue up, especially right into tier 2. These guys recently buffed in that they only cost half the resources to repurchase if they are killed. 441, 375. Shooter boys getting a knob leader. Looters are there covering. CSM taking model losses. Another sloppy engagement really from Arthel. Here's a war truck. Where's that dreadnought? Here it is. Starts with that autocannon. Good damage to all targets, small area of effect. Red team looking like they're in control big time here. Can this dreadnought change the game?
The enemy attacks one of your structures.
Heavy weapon squad on the field for Mowgli. There's that Dakar. Farseer going for the singing spear for some reason. Maybe he wants to hunt that Manticore down. But he's gone down. Sentinel getting shots in. Lord General coming into force melee combat on the Wraithguard, I assume. No, he's going after the Dire Avengers. Wraithguard doing some friendly fire there. Baiting that friendly fire. 407, 375. We might see the blue team forced off here. And a power harass from Mowgli. Havoc suppressing the Lord General. Farseer is still down. Warboss has decapped the south. It's not looking good for blue team. Kisuke should get a weird boy here, I think. He's got the power claw to go up against that dreadnought. Maybe some tank busters or something. He's not purchasing anything. He's going straight to tier 3. It's 1 to uncap. I think it's a mistake to go straight to tier 3. Wants to deal with the dreadnought first if he can, unless he goes straight for a looted tank. That might be what he's going to do, or try to do. Manticore showing itself. Webway gate's going up there, 403375. Mowgli's not that far off, going tier 3 himself. Red team, a little bit of power harass on their generator here, but they haven't lost any generators that I've seen. Warboss chasing off the little pesky Dire Avengers again. Haven't seen any good grenade spikes from those Dire Avengers. If you aren't using their abilities well, their fleet, grenades and their shields, which I've not seen any of, they're not the most efficient unit. 399, 375. Chaos Dreadnought smacking shooters in retreat, only getting one model there. And we do see power harass from the burners on these sluggers, burning down generators quick time, and blue team in all sorts of trouble. Arthel going tier 3. Chaos Space Marines trying to fight a Warboss in melee combat, and he's got the claws. Not a good idea. Manticore strike though on this Chaos stuff. Doesn't do a whole lot apart from forcing off the Havocs, which is not bad in itself. 394, 375 Warboss charging again into those Chaos Space Marines and sluggers in retreat path out of the war truck. But down goes the war truck. Got a bit too close to that dreadnought. Finished it off with its claw. All kicking off mid though. Is that fire on my target? It is 394, 372. Usually something you see paired up with stormtroopers. Not in this case. I think the melter gun would perhaps be better in this instance. He just lost all of his retinue. Wow. Sentinel's going to go down. Big turnaround there. Big losses for both teams. Kisuke losing his war truck. Mowgli losing his entire retinue there. And his... he lost something else. What was it? His sentinel. Another webway going up. Blue team starting to creep back into this. Kisuke had Knob Squad on the way, but cancelled them. This dreadnought badly needs repairs. He might be going mid so that all of these Dire Avengers can repair him. In fact, they're all in retreat. So not sure what he's up to. It's so risky bringing this guy up. Couple of smacks from the Warboss, that thing will be down. Chaos Predator on the way for Arthel. Kisuke going for the battle wagon. Incredibly powerful super unit right now. We'll see if he can deal with it. He could get the Marcos Inch Dreadnought up. Dreadnought has actually done quite well for him, dealing with that war truck very quickly. Stopping these shooters pushing here. Here comes the Warboss though, and this guy needs to back the hell off. Chaos Space Marines with a ton of war in instant retreats. That must have been a mistake. 394, 344. Havoc set up covering mid. Not easy to cover the middle completely with setup teams, unless you have 2 or 3 of them. More power harass from Mowgli. Has some Kisuke with weapon expertise, but no weapon upgrade. Going to eat a grenade, or are they? Nicely dodged in the end, in fact, and he can finish that decap. Double Guardsman forced to retreat there. Wraith Guard sitting around. Rangers in mid, infiltrated. Chaos Lord has been revived. Warboss level 4, Lord General level 2, and he's repurchased some of his retinue. Does not have the Vox Operator. Farseer level 3. Chaos Lord still level 1, no war gear. 2 to 1 now for blue. They're looking a hell of a lot better. Kisuke, I think, rushed tier 3 a bit too quickly. Could have got some tank busters up and gone after that dreadnought, tried to deal with it. Now it's much more of a problem, I think, with the Predator tank around and all of this Eldar stuff. Chaos Predator with the Mark of Khorne, which basically just buffs all of its weapons, especially the sponsons, which get a massive damage buff, those heavy bolters. So it's a really good DPS upgrade, especially for shredding infantry. But the autocannon is not bad either, getting a 25% damage buff. The heavy bolters getting a 75% damage buff from Mark of Khorne. Here's that death roller on that battle wagon. An insane piece of kit. can give multiple squads, especially if you catch them on retreat. Something a bit up with that, I think. 391, 300, 2-to-1 cap for the red team. Battle wagon in the right hands is an incredibly difficult unit to deal with, especially if you get it out early, which Kisuke hasn't really done. There's already a dreadnought, already a tank on the field, and that might save the blue team here. Warboss going after the dreadnought. Kerstorm is there. Tank getting shots, and it's going to be forced off. What's going on mid? Wraithguard have done well. Really surprised that we haven't seen spotters from Mowgli against triple Dire Avengers, Rangers, and Wraithguard. Seems like a no-brainer to get spotters, but I guess not. Fire Prism's up. Idle right now. Who's gone down there? It's the Farseer. Kerstorm capping. And retinue again is shredded for the Lord General. Heavy turret is up there. That's on the global bar of the Lord General. Does a lot of damage to vehicles and large targets from range, and he can change that Vanquisher for an Executioner, which is better versus infantry but doesn't quite have the range. Autocannon for this heavy weapon squad. The Kasukin still... no, they do have melter guns here, which snare targets passively because of this weapon expertise. They only get 2 in the squad, but they do a fair amount of damage from what I've seen. They also have those crack and frag grenades, of course. Really awesome little squad, the Kasukin. Grenade comes in. They are forced off though, just trying to stop the cap there, which they did. Rangers getting shots. Trying to bleed guardsmen with a sniper unit though is a bit of a waste of time. Fire Prism disrupting those Kasukin with their dispersed shots. Probably the first time the red team have seen the Fire Prism, so now they know it's there. Can they counter it with a Lehman Russ or something? That heavy turret will do a hell... oh no, maybe not. It's switched it to the Executioner. Not sure why he did that with all the vehicles on the field. Battle wagon using his big zap gun. Still no Marker Zinch for this dreadnought. Thought for sure he'd go for it against this battle wagon. 378, 241. I certainly would have. Now he can push power though. No, he's going to turn and engage. The Lord General is losing retinue members left and right. What is he doing, in fact? He's just engaging them. I thought he was trying to decap there. Maybe he's just forgotten about his Lord General. What else is he looking at here? Oh, he's looking at north. Fire Prism running away from Kasukin. Smack. That dispersed shot will make it almost impossible for them to solo it though. Heretics moving in on the Warboss, and there's that spiky armor again coming into play. Look at the damage it does, and that stomp as well. Heretics cannot do a whole lot versus a Warboss with spiky armor apart from disrupt him with their grenade launchers or suppress him with a Doom Blast. Lehman Russ on the way from Mowgli. Could get the Vanquisher cannon on it and go and hunt down this Fire Prism. Your own tanks are generally a pretty good counter to Fire Prisms because they only have 500 hit points and they fire very, very slowly. So if you have a Las Cannon Predator or a Vanquisher Cannon Lehman Russ, you can deal with the Fire Prism pretty quickly. But down goes that Manticore. This Fire Prism's done for now. Taking rear armor, it's from the autocannon, down it goes. This battle wagon is continuing to be a huge pain in the arse. He really, really should have got Marco Zinch for this dreadnought. Why has he not? 355, 223s floating. Huge amounts of resources. There's a Rocks on base. Good night. 355, 222. That's wiped out most of his infantry. They survive. Somehow they survive. How did that happen? They survived. He has to reinforce them all though. Is he saving for a Phobos or something? What is he doing? Where's that Marco Zinch? There it is. It's on the way. I think his teammate just told him to get it. 346, 222. Double cap now for the red team. Looters with the beamy death gun for Kisuke, so he lost his first looter squad. Sluggers to repair the battle wagon. Look at the damage this Predator tank is taking. Smack goes down to the beamy death gun. You get 50 red for taking down a Chaos Predator. That was not smart, Mr. Arthel. Leman Russ with elite tank crew does look like it has the Vanquish cannon, which is longer than its default cannon. Warboss level 6, he's done really well charging around with this spiky armor, causing all sorts of problems. Here comes that battle wagon as well, loaded up with boys, as you can see, all of the guns firing, and it gets a speed buff when you have a unit inside as well. You only need one unit for all those buffs. Double sluggers getting out, catching stuff in the retreat path. Phobos on the way, but is it too little too late from Arthel? Really should have got this Marcos Inch earlier and really gone after the battle wagon proactively with his Predator tank. I'm not sure why he didn't do that. He seemed to be happy just to force it off and then kind of hang around the mid with his vehicles. 256 triple to another heavy turret for Mowgli, and a bunker there, most likely a repair bunker to support the Leman Russ and the battle wagon. He hasn't purchased it yet though, doesn't quite have the requisition, I don't think. Kisuke throw their frag grenade on the Chaos Lord. That's going to piss him off. Doesn't knock him over though. 251, triple two, 1-to-1 cap. He can't finish the cap mid, but here comes CSM. They're going to take shots from that turret, or are they? Does it get through the terrain there? The terrain on this map can be a bit weird in the middle. As you can see, that turret is hitting terrain very strangely. Double fire prisms now from Regathor. Can he manage those things well? 251 triple 220, I should say. 2-to-1 cap for the blue team. Warboss now coming to decap the south, I think, which is a good idea. Phobos almost out. Those things take an age to build. Land Raiders now take 75 seconds, I believe, to get on the field. A hell of a lot of time in Dawn of War 2. Farseer level 4 has Armory Assyrian. Hasn't done a whole lot with this Singing Spear. Not sure why they went for it. Doombringer is such a nice weapon, I think. That Doom ability scales so well. Singing Spear, I'm not sure how much damage this thing does. I don't think it's a whole lot. I think it's around 50 DPS heavy melee, which will help you against a vehicle, help you finish one off. But it's not going to be taken on walkers and stuff, is she? 225, 211, triple cap for the red team. Chaos Lord trying to retake the south. This Warboss just laughing at these heretics who try to engage him. Does he not know that he has spiky armor? What is he doing? He's going to lose the entire squad here. 205, 211. Yep, he loses the squad. Here comes the Phobos to the mid. 197, 211. Double cap for the red team. And Arthel just lost most of his army. He has a Phobos and Chaos Space Marines. Where did he lose his Predator tank? I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Where did he lose his Dreadnought, I should say, and there it is. It was probably this, yeah. These looters with their beamy death gun. Got too close. Infiltrated looters is really, really annoying. Warboss is forced off. 179, 211. Red team are going to hold on for victory here, surely. Do they have enough to deal with this Land Raider Phobos? Chaos Lord going for claws and runs into death. That wasn't too smart, Mr. Arthel. Farseer is going to try and take mid. He has actually switched to the Doombringer. Leman Russ getting shots. More retinue models up for the Lord General. We like to replace these guys. There's that Commissar shield. It's quite a small shield though. Pretty much only protects the Lord General himself. Ouch, runs into a grenade and runs away. Phobos with those twin link las cannons on both sides, sponsons, and twin linked heavy bolter on the top. Also has the Dirge caster, but now taking damage. This thing only has 2,000 hit points, and on a very slow Land Raider that can spell death quite quickly. Not sure what he's trying to do here. He's trying to use a Dirge caster on vehicles. He's just going to lose this Phobos straight up. Those turrets doing huge amounts of damage, and he loses it. What was he trying to do? 159, 176. Here comes that devilish battle wagon. Sluggers getting out, wiping out the CSM. Arthel now has absolutely nothing. There was an abyss, but didn't do a whole lot. Oh, it destroyed the turrets, did it? Wow, did quite a lot of damage to those turrets. 159, 165. It does, I think it's 200 heavy melee DPS right in the center of the abyss. So will destroy most stationary things. Plague Marines on the way for Arthel. But it's surely all over here. 159, 165. Kisuke floating resources like crazy. It doesn't have the population to purchase anything else. Fire Prism's getting away. Red team needs to cap mid, surely. Warboss, what are you doing? This battle wagon has been beastly, as they often are. 156, 165. There's some really poor choices, I'm afraid, from Arthel. Not getting that Marcos Inch Dreadnought up. Really strange choices to push his Predator into mid alone. Push that Phobos up there alone. 146, 165. One of the Fire Prisms goes down. There's Leman Russ hunting them, as you can see here. Look at the damage it's doing. Got Plague Marines in to support. Down goes the Fire Prism. It must have been that las cannon on the front of the Leman Russ finishing it off. Regathor losing his double Fire Prism. That is pretty painful. And there's the concede from the blue team. Red team dominant at the end. But blue team were in it for a while. There's some really strange choices from Arthel and some misplays. Constantly sending his heretics into this Warboss to just be eaten. He got level 9, this guy. So much unnecessary bleed from sending his heretics in. Just doom blast the guy and back off and shoot him up. Level 5 Lord General was nice to see a bunch of retinue members used. Farseer getting a Doombring at the end. Not sure this Singing Spear was a good choice. Didn't seem to do a whole lot. And Chaos Lord was fully kitted out at the end, but only level 2. It was pretty much a waste of resources, all of this stuff. Battle Wagon again was the unit of the match, pretty much dominated the south side when it came out. Arthel should have been much more aggressive going after this thing, but some good play from Kisuke to support it with double sluggers, foregoing knobs or flash kits or anything fancy to keep this battle wagon around. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.